Tyreek Hill just can't seem to stay out of trouble. This time he might have actually crossed the line. After dropping some wild comments that Dolphins fans are definitely not feeling, Tyreek straight up confronted a coach, and let's just say it didn't end well. In this video, we're breaking down everything that led up to this shocking moment. What Tyreek said that's got fans heated, and why this could shake up the Dolphins locker room for real. Let's get into it. The coach confrontation that divided the NFL world. On January 17, 2021, during a high-stakes AFC divisional playoff game between the Kansas City Chiefs and Cleveland Browns, CBS cameras captured Tyreek Hill, then with the Chiefs, shoving his wide receivers coach Greg Lewis on the sideline after a drive stalled and resulted in a field goal. The timing couldn't have been more dramatic, late in the third quarter with the Chiefs leading 22-10, following a drive that ended with a field goal by Harrison Butker from 33 yards. The context surrounding this moment was absolutely crucial to understanding what transpired. Patrick Mahomes had suffered a concussion and was replaced by backup Chad Henne, who stalled in the red zone, yielding only 3 points instead of a touchdown. The frustration was palpable. Here was a championship-caliber team watching their championship hopes potentially slip away due to an inability to punch the ball into the end zone during a critical playoff moment. When the cameras first captured the incident, it appeared to be an angry outburst that sent shockwaves through the sports world. Hill, visibly upset and sitting on the bench, was seen yelling back toward the field before standing up and delivering what looked like an aggressive two-hand shove to Lewis as he walked past. Social media exploded with speculation about tension within the Chiefs organization, with many questioning Hill's character and leadership. But then, something remarkable happened, something that completely changed the narrative. CBS went to a commercial break immediately after the incident, but upon returning, they replayed the moment, showing additional context. Lewis was seen smiling through his mask, and shortly afterward, Hill and Lewis were observed laughing together on the sideline, suggesting the incident was not as serious as it initially seemed. The power of social media in today's NFL landscape became evident as Hill took to Twitter to clarify the situation. Hill posted that the push was "nice LOL" and responding to another post showing Lewis laughing, saying, "Yes man, love him like an uncle." These posts, made on January 17th and 18th, 2021 respectively, indicated a close, friendly relationship and dismissed any notion of conflict. But the real insight came when Hill addressed the media in the days following the incident. In interviews conducted on January 20th and 2021, Hill explained that the shove was intended to give the guys energy and was a reflection of his passionate personality. He emphasized, "I play the game with so much passion. I was just trying to give the guys energy. That's me and my personality, man. I'm just fired up and I'm just happy just to be in the NFL and just to be a part of this great organization." Hill also directly addressed the misconceptions that had spread like wildfire across social media platforms. "A lot of people seen it as me as being a hothead on the sideline, being a diva you could say, but it wasn't nothing like that," he stated, providing crucial context that the initial viral footage had stripped away. Coach Andy Reid's response was equally illuminating and helped to completely reframe the narrative. In a statement on January 19th, 2021, Reid told reporters, "They were messing around. I know how it came off, but if you look at a minute later, they're laughing over there. If you talk to both of them, they'll tell you they were just messing around." This reinforced the narrative that the shove was playful and not indicative of any real tension. What makes this story particularly fascinating is how it illustrates the challenges of modern sports media consumption. Initial reactions on social media and in some media outlets speculated about tension, with posts describing Hill as heated and questioning if he attacked Lewis. However, these perceptions were quickly corrected by the additional footage and statements from Hill and Reid. The game context adds another layer to this story that cannot be ignored. The Chiefs were in a high-stakes playoff matchup, and the loss of Mahomes to a concussion likely heightened emotions on the sideline. The drive in question saw Hill run a third-down corner route to the end zone, believing he was open, but Henne did not target him, leading to the field goal. This frustration might have contributed to Hill's initial reaction, but his subsequent actions and statements clarified it was not directed at Lewis personally. What's remarkable is how this incident, which could have been a major distraction for a playoff team, was quickly resolved and put to rest. The Chiefs' defense held strong after the incident, allowing only one more touchdown, and the team won 22-17, advancing to face the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game. Hill's performance in the game included 5 catches for 78 yards and 3 rushes for 9 yards, contributing to the victory. If you thought the coaching incident was controversial, wait until you hear about what happened on September 8th, 2024, a day that would forever change how we view police interactions with professional athletes and spark a national conversation about racial profiling and excessive force. The traffic stop that shook the NFL. On September 8, 2024, Tyreek Hill was detained by Miami-Dade police outside Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida, before the team's season-opening game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. What should have been a routine traffic stop escalated into something far more serious, with body camera footage that would later be released showing a level of force that many deemed excessive and unnecessary. The incident began innocuously enough. Hill was pulled over approximately 1 block from Hard Rock Stadium for a traffic violation, specifically reckless driving and not wearing a seatbelt. But what happened next would send shockwaves through the NFL and beyond.
Why don't you have your seatbelt on? Why don't you have your seatbelt on? Like what? Why do you have it up? Hey, keep your window down. Annie. Hey, keep your window down. Keep your window down, I'm gonna get you out of the car.
The tension escalated quickly from there.
As a matter of fact, get out of the car. Give me that. Get out of the car. Give me that. We'll break that freaking window. Get out of the car. Get out of the car right now. We're not playing this game. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out!
Body camera footage revealed that an officer knocked on Hill's car window, which was raised, leading to a confrontation. The officer threatened to break the window, and Hill was subsequently pulled out of his car, handcuffed, and forced face down on the pavement. He was then made to sit on the sidewalk, with the situation escalating from 0 to 60, as Hill later described. What makes this incident particularly disturbing is the speed at which it escalated.
Hey, Drew, I'm getting arrested, Drew. I'm getting arrested. I'm getting arrested, Drew. I'm getting up, bro. God.
When we tell you to do something, you do it. You understand?
I'm getting up.
You understand? Not what you want, but what we tell you.
The involvement of Hill's teammates added another dimension to this already complex situation. Teammates Jonnu Smith and Calais Campbell intervened during the incident, with Campbell also being briefly handcuffed. Videos circulating online, including one posted on X, showed 4 officers surrounding Hill in handcuffs, highlighting the intensity of the encounter. Campbell's confusion is evident when he asks from,
"Why is he getting arrested though?"
If we stop you and you don't identify yourself to the police, we have to get you out of the car. That's what happens.
Him? I'm talking about him, both. I'm talking about him, my other teammate. Why is he
I don't know what happened there.
Hill's perspective on the incident, captured in the body camera footage, provides crucial insight into what was going through his mind during this traumatic experience.
No, so look, he told me to pull over, right? And I pulled over. He was like, "Why is your seatbelt on?" I'm like, "Sir, was I speeding?" He was like, "Nah." He was like, "Yeah, you were speeding." I'm like, "Sir, I was going 55 in a 40." Okay, that's cool. I was like, "Okay, write me a ticket. Write me a ticket so I can go." He was like, so like he started walking away. I let my window back up and I put my seatbelt on, right? So he was like, "Oh, put your window." I said, "I'm not gonna put my window down, bro. I'm not, bro. I'm gonna call Drew." So I called Drew. You know Drew Brooks, right? So I called Drew to make sure everything was straight. He started getting hostile. He's like, "Get out the car, get out the car." I said, "Bro, what? Let me call Drew first. Give me 1 second, sir." I never once got out of control or nothing. But then they pulled me out the car, slammed me on my knee, and he fucked. No, I got tendonitis again, bro.
The police response and subsequent investigation revealed troubling patterns. Following the incident, Miami-Dade Police Director Stephanie V. Daniels initiated an internal affairs investigation to ensure a thorough review, committing to transparency and accountability. One officer, Danny Torres, was placed on administrative duty pending the investigation's outcome. Torres, a 27-year veteran, has a documented history of disciplinary actions, including 6 suspensions between 2014 and 2019, totaling up to 50 days and several written reprimands. The South Florida Police Benevolent Association president, Stedman Stahl, stated that Hill was uncooperative and was redirected to the ground for officer safety, though he was never under arrest. However, this explanation did little to quell the controversy, especially after the body camera footage was released to the public. The Miami Dolphins' response was swift and unusually harsh for an NFL organization when dealing with law enforcement. The Miami Dolphins issued an unusually harsh statement on September 10, 2024, criticizing the officer's actions as despicable and a misuse of power, despite maintaining a generally positive relationship with the Miami-Dade Police Department.
I'm just being a black man, that's it. I'm just being black in America, bro. That's all it is.
We're dark too, brother. We're people of color too. Don't play like that.
I'm just being a black man in America, bro, in a nice car. That's it.
The legal aftermath of this incident was equally significant. Hill was cited for careless driving and failing to wear a seatbelt following the incident. However, these citations were dismissed on an unspecified Tuesday after September 8, 2024, because the officers involved did not attend the hearing, described as an oversight. What makes this story even more remarkable is what happened after the detention. Despite the detention, Hill suited up for the game and played a pivotal role in the Dolphins' 2017 comeback win. He had 7 catches for 130 yards, including an 80-yard touchdown reception, and celebrated with a handcuffs gesture, symbolizing the earlier incident. The ACLU of Florida commented on the incident, framing it as an example of excessive force by law enforcement, particularly affecting black and brown communities, and noting it occurred shortly after the disbanding of Miami's civilian investigative panel. This incident sparked a national conversation about police interactions with black drivers and the use of force during traffic stops, particularly in high-profile cases involving athletes. The controversy surrounding the detention has renewed debates over police interactions with black drivers and the use of force during traffic stops, particularly in high-profile cases involving athletes. Behind closed doors, the domestic disputes and team tensions. The final piece of this complex puzzle takes us behind the scenes, into the personal life of one of the NFL's most electrifying players, where the stakes are just as high, but the consequences far more personal and lasting. The most recent chapter in Tyreek Hill's off-field controversies unfolded on April 9, 2025, when police were called to Hill's residence in Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, following a report of an assault in progress at 1:57 p.m. This wasn't just another celebrity police call. It involved Hill, his wife Keita, who was filing for divorce, and Keita's mother, Alicia Vaccaro. The details that emerged paint a picture of a family under tremendous strain. Vaccaro, living with the couple since November 2024 after the birth of their granddaughter, described Hill as very aggressive and impulsive and feared for Keita's safety. The altercation reportedly involved Hill throwing a laptop on the floor and grabbing his daughter, resulting in a light bruise on Keita's upper chest. Both Hill and Keita stated the altercation never turned physical, and Keita believed the bruise occurred without malice when Hill took the baby. Police spoke with all parties, and after determining no further action was needed, closed the case without filing charges. Hill left the residence at 2:40 p.m. and Keita was issued a case card. While this incident was resolved without criminal charges, it's part of a broader pattern that has followed Hill throughout his career. This incident adds to Hill's history of domestic-related issues, though it did not escalate to legal consequences, reflecting a pattern of police involvement without charges. But the personal turmoil wasn't the only drama surrounding Hill in recent months. The relationship between Hill and the Miami Dolphins organization reached a breaking point following their disappointing season finale. After missing the playoffs, Hill made comments that sent shockwaves through the organization and fan base alike.
Met for, I want to say, an hour yesterday. I was very direct with him. He was very honest, and it was great terms that we were discussing. Discussed multiple things, including, without wavering, that it's not acceptable to leave a game and won't be tolerated in the future. And he embraced accountability, and it was. I wouldn't say there's anything necessarily to fix, as much as we had to clear the air in a rough and tumultuous situation.
The controversy McDaniel was referring to centered around Hill's decision to make himself unavailable during the fourth quarter of their final game, a decision that drew comparisons to some of the most infamous player meltdowns in recent NFL history. This incident became a flashpoint for criticism, with media personalities and former players drawing parallels to Antonio Brown's dramatic exit from Tampa Bay and other instances of players quitting on their team. The media reaction was swift and brutal. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith delivered a scathing critique that perfectly captured the sentiment of many NFL observers.
Ain't this the same Tyreek Hill? Now listen, we know he all world. He's my favorite receiver. The cheetah's the cheetah. However, wasn't that the same dude that said Tua was comparable to Patrick Mahomes? Am I missing? Ain't that same dude? Ain't that same dude that swore? Swore up and down. Watch what we do. Ain't that dude? That's the same dude.
Smith continued his criticism from,
by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the same Tyreek Hill, who got his bag now, restructured his deal for Miami, got his bag now. I don't want to hear about your family, because your family is when it comes to the money, not the game. That's you. That's not your family. That's you. That's you, Tyreek Hill. This is the same brother. Tua had a 17 starts last year. This year he got 11.
The statistics Smith referenced tell a sobering story about Hill's declining production in Miami.
This year, he was targeted 171 times last year, 123 this year. Receptions, 119 last year, 81 this year. Receiving yards, 1799 last year, 959 this year. That's a 38% drop in receptions. That's damn near 800 yards. It is an 800-yard drop in receiving yards. And by the way, his reception yards per game, it dipped from 112 to 56.4, which is his fewest since his rookie season. Life's a little bit different when you ain't with Patrick Mahomes.
The criticism extended beyond just his on-field performance to questions about his character and commitment.
He took himself out of the game. He wasn't injured. We didn't play the sound, but Mike McDaniel said he was informed that Tyreek in the fourth quarter was unavailable. And to his knowledge, it was not brought to his attention that it was anything new injury related. So if that's the case, what is the difference between what Tyreek Hill and what Antonio Brown did in Tampa when he refused to go back into the game in that Bears stadium?
This comparison to Antonio Brown was particularly damaging, as Brown's erratic behavior had made him virtually untradeable despite his incredible talent. The suggestion that Hill was following a similar path raised serious questions about his future in Miami and in the NFL more broadly. But Hill's troubles weren't limited to his relationship with the Dolphins organization. His past continued to haunt him in legal proceedings as well. In February 2024, Instagram model Sophie Hall filed a lawsuit against Hill, alleging an incident on June 28, 2023 at Hill's mansion. Hall claimed Hill invited her to participate in offensive football drills, and during the session he intentionally and recklessly ran into her, breaking her leg. As of May 2025, the lawsuit remains ongoing, with no resolution detailed in the sources reviewed. Adding to the legal complications was the earlier marina incident from 2023. Hill was involved in a dispute at Hallover Marina in Miami on June 18, 2023, where he and his group were fishing, an activity reportedly not permitted at the location. The dispute arose when a marina worker informed Hill and his companions of the rules, with allegations that Hill struck the worker, leading to an investigation for assault and battery. The matter was resolved on July 24, 2023, through a joint statement by the attorneys for both parties, with no criminal charges filed. These incidents collectively paint a picture of a player struggling to reconcile his immense talent with personal and professional challenges. Hill's history includes past controversies, such as a 2014 domestic violence arrest during his college years at Oklahoma State, where he pleaded guilty to domestic assault and battery by strangulation, receiving 3 years of probation and being expelled from the team. The pattern of behavior has led to ongoing discussions about character and accountability in professional sports. Despite these challenges, the Dolphins have generally supported Hill, with statements indicating communication with the NFL and no rush to trade him, though his trade value may be impacted by his outspoken nature and controversy. What makes Hill's story particularly complex is the intersection of his incredible athletic ability with these persistent off-field issues. His speed and playmaking ability are undeniable. He remains one of the most dynamic receivers in the game, but the questions about his character, his commitment to his teammates, and his ability to handle adversity continue to overshadow his on-field achievements. The broader implications of Hill's struggles extend beyond just one player or one team. They raise questions about how the NFL handles players with troubled pasts, about the role of character in evaluating talent, and about the responsibilities that come with being a highly paid professional athlete and public figure. As we look at the totality of these incidents, from the misunderstood coaching confrontation to the serious traffic stop to the ongoing personal and legal challenges, we see a player at a crossroads. The talent that has made Hill one of the most exciting players in the NFL remains intact, but the off-field issues that have followed him throughout his career continue to create controversy and concern. The story of Tyreek Hill serves as a reminder that in the modern NFL, talent alone is not enough. Character, accountability, and the ability to learn from mistakes are equally important. As Hill continues his career, these incidents will undoubtedly follow him, shaping how he is perceived by fans, media, and future teams. The question remains, can one of the NFL's most gifted players finally put his troubled past behind him and focus solely on the game that has given him so much? That brings us to the end of this story. For more interesting videos like this, click on the cards on your screen.